be right here. That gray slab you see down there, that is the Spring of Stars. They call it that because dignitaries and people who are full of themselves, that's usually Jaguar fans, they'll come over here, sit here for a minute, and then go back to the dock. Y'all ain't going back that fast. It is 23 feet down. It's pumping out right at 250,000 gallons of water every hour. Spring of Stars. Anybody ever see a movie called Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Actually, yeah.
Oh, well, the underwater scenes in that iconic 1954 movie were filmed right here. And the cave that that creature called home, cave coming up underneath my front glass. We call it Creature Cavern. 28 feet down, pumping out right at 500,000 gallons of water every hour. Y'all see that little school of Toronto wannabe right there?
Those are tilapia.
Yeah, no. There's some more down there. There's some of the mullet down there on top of that rock. If you see a fish jump clean out of the water, that would be one of the mullets, like hairstyle. 28 feet down, 500,000 gallons of water now. Creature Cavern. Now these first two spring vents I showed you, they're called horizontals, indicating the fracture goes from left to right. I want to take you over one now called a vertical. Basically, it's just a hole in the ground. We used to take you over that one over there, but it collapsed about 4 months ago. So we take you over this one. I had gone over it a long time. When I first started working here, it was about the size of a soccer ball. And now, it's the best looking spring in the river, bar none. Now they haven't surveyed it, so we don't know how much water's coming out of it, and they ain't put a name to it yet neither. But the spring I'm sliding over right now, that is the best looking spring in the river. Like I said, when I started working here, it was about the size of a soccer ball.
Oh, jag ser ju inte
Behind me and to my right is what we call Bird Island. They call it that because birds nest up in there. Right now, the birds that are finishing their nesting sequence is the Anhinga cormorant. The Anhinga is that bird with a straight pointed beak, and the cormorant is the bird that's got that hook beak, like a Seattle Seahawk logo. The purple bottle brush flowers you see over there, those things are called pickerelweed. The red ones you see over there, there's just a couple of them inboard. They have a Latin name with sugarunum. The birds you see on that log right there, that is a female cormorant. C-O-R-M-O-R-A-N-T, cormorant. The male of that genre is jet black. What's that in the water ahead of us there? Turn around where I can see a little bit better. It looks like Alberta to me.
Yep.
About a 9-foot alligator, 9.5 foot right there on the right. You call it Alberta. That's a mama gator, and there's nothing more vicious in this park than a mama alligator protecting her young. Yeah, that's the turtle on the other side. It's on that log over there. Y'all know how to measure the length of a living alligator? Boat school. Center of its eyes to the tip of its snout. That distance in inches will correlate to its length in feet. That one right there is about 9.5 foot. That is the best I can do for you folks, because to be honest with you, I ain't got enough testicular fortitude to actually get out there and measure it. We turn this side to it. I gotta be careful because them trees will take my propeller out, and then that fellow up there in the tank top's gonna have to paddle it back to the top. Now the turtle you see back in there, just like that turtle up here, well, it jumped. That turtle is called a red-eared or yellow-bellied slider. We actually call them cooters around here, though. The cooter is the wind blew me into that tree. I gotta be careful. The cooter has a festival over in Everett. It's called the Cooter Festival. It's at Cooter Park on Cooter Pond. They serve cooter soup. That other boat ain't gonna like me. He sees me in here. He don't like it. Now he's going to have to bring his big line here. Y'all know we call them logs and turtles around over there? Shell stations. Yeah. There's a mudfish or a bowfin right underneath me there. And up north they call them mudfish. Louisiana and Mississippi Gulf Coast, they call it a shoe peg. They call them bowfins around here. No. How many of y'all kayak, canoe, or paddleboard? Have you done this river?
No, not yet.
Oh, you get a chance to do it. It's awesome. The water is just beautiful all the way downriver. This is as rough as it gets, and as it gets from one up. This next lagoon is my favorite. There's 4 things in here so off. 2 good, 2 not so good. Actually 2 bad and 2 good. First, coming up underneath my glass tied up is the grass. It's encrusted with algae. Algae is a bad thing. It sucks the oxygen out of the water, and if this was a lake, that would be deadly, but we're not a lake, we're a river. And the green fuzzy stuff, you see, well, that's simply called an algae bloom. That's not a good thing either. The river gets about 805 million gallons of water a day. That equates to fresh water, on average, every 38 minutes. Oh, that's a pretty good thing. And beneath us are several pieces of wood that fit together and make up a 63-foot long dugout canoe. 63 feet's awesome. That means it's royal or ceremonial. The best part about it, though, is its age. Carbon dated to being in the neighborhood of 590 to 620 years old. That means it's not Seminole, but Semiquan. The Semiquan are Native American tribes that lived here, some say as far back as 1,100 years ago. All the way through a year we do know, 1821. That's the year that Spain evacuated Florida. And when the Spanish left, the Semiquan had been fighting the British and the Americans for about 300 years. They decided to leave with their only friend and ally. They packed up and immigrated to the island of Cuba. And once there, they assimilated into the population. The act of assimilation made their bloodline disappear. That's not their footnote in history. Their claim to fame is what they accomplished in the early 1500s when they took the remnants of 11 tribes of Native Americans and runaway slaves and built the most powerful entity here. They called themselves the Seminoa. Took us about 2 seconds to butcher that up, start calling them the Seminoles. They were all powerful here through the year 1830. We'll touch base more about them in a little bit. Y'all ever hear of a football team called the Florida State Seminoles? Does anybody know how they officially got their name? Book school. That's like homeschool again, but you're stuck on my boat. Back in the early days of the school, the president of the university negotiated for the privilege. And the price that they pay to this day to call themselves the Seminoles, every Seminole native who graduates high school is offered a full boat scholarship to Florida State University. To date, I'm told 1,124 members of the Seminole Nation have participated in the program. Now, there's an argument going on that says the number should be 1,125. It's just that we don't count Elizabeth Warren. Beneath us is the Blue Grotto. It is a magnitude 1 spring, kicking out 87.72 million gallons of water a day. It is the 3rd largest spring in the river. I'm going to show you the largest, not only in the river, but in the Western Hemisphere in just a few moments. Back in 1938, this place was privately owned and operated. The operator's name was Colonel Toohey. He was a colonel like Colonel Sanders, not Colonel Clinton. Colonel Toohey decided to open up another attraction here, so he went down to Raccoon Island. He built habitats and feeding stations for a dozen of the rhesus macaque monkeys. He put them on the island and then backed away. As he backed away, he lit a cigar and then popped a cork on a bottle of champagne. The popping sound startled the monkeys and they swam off the island 85 years ago. In that time frame since, there's been a whole lot of populating. There's over 3,000 of them in Central Florida alone. And of that number, 178 call this park home. And I hate every single one of them 178. When I first started working here 6 years ago, one of them boogers jumped on my boat. I have jumped out of planes. That booger jumped on my boat. My inner 3-year-old girl jumped out. I am not fond of them things. Now, they're not violent or vicious. That's not the problem. They've been around 80-some years. They've never bit nobody, never scratched nobody, and nobody, by the way, has ever gotten sick from a rhesus macaque in the wild. The problem? We call them feces flingers, and I'm not too fond of being flung upon. Now, off to my right, ahead of me, and I'm going to turn on it, is about a 4-foot alligator sunning itself up on that log. While I'm showing off the gator, if any one of you happen to see one of our fur balls and they're in a 3-point stance like a defensive lineman, that empty hand is loading up and y'all need to go long. They're as accurate as RG3 for the first 30 yards. I used to say as accurate as Tom Brady, but he went the way of OJ. No, not Giselle. No, he went and did a Hertz commercial. I'm going to do a Huey right here real quick. You saw that gator back over in the back there. It's kind of somewhat hidden a little bit, but Alberta had 5 eggs hatched this year. So far, we find 2 have survived. One of those gators, one of the babies was eaten by an alligator. They filmed it. And the gator was about that size right there. And she got so mad at that gator, she went after, not that one, but the one that ate her baby. She bit it right behind the head, pinning its legs, front legs in its mouth. And for 4 days, she had that gator in her mouth going around. That happened on a Thursday. Monday around lunchtime, she ate the gator that size for eating one of hers. I got the video of it, and I got to tell you, you know, when you watch Animal Planet, you see a cheetah chase a gazelle across the Serengeti. I don't know if that's geographically right, but the point is, you'll see it, it'll get that gazelle, and you go, oh, look, it got dinner. There's a whole lot of difference when you're watching it, you know, from 50 feet away. You got a good picture? The boat you see underneath the tree, that is a second-generation glass bottom boat from here at Silver Spring. The boat was in service somewhere between 1885 and 1910. It was paddled by oars, and if that was the method of propulsion today, yeah, I wouldn't be here. Quick geography lesson, the river is 5.7 miles long. It flows east in direction to the Ocklawaha. Once at the Ocklawaha, this water will then go north 58 miles to the crossbar of Parks Canal. Hang a right, go east 22 miles. There's the Nanhinga sunning itself right there. Once it hits the St. John's, it'll go north up to the city of Jacksonville, out into the Atlantic Ocean at Naval Station Mayport. It's 1:15 now. At 2:45 tomorrow afternoon, the water you see beneath this boat will be in the Atlantic Ocean, 102.2 miles away. That building you see off to the right, that is the mansion. That was built back in 1993 as a concert venue. Reba McEntire, Clint Black, Travis Tritt, REO Speedwagon, Willie Nelson, Charlie Daniels, Eddie Money, and Guess Who? They've all played up on that platform. The best time for music around here, those late 60s, early 70s. There's another Shell station right there with a few turtles on it. They're exercising over here. That's called planking. That's a Pilates exercise. The best time for music here was late 60s, early 70s. Back then, it was part of the Southern Concert Tour. Edgar and Johnny Winter, ELO, Brownsville Station, Creedence Clearwater Revival, the Eagles, and the best band to ever raise Mother Earth, Jethro Tull. The park itself is officially recognized as opening in 1868. Been privately owned and operated all the way through 1993. In 93, the Park Service took over the place, hired a concessionaire to run it for them for 30 years. 20 years into that contract, the Palace Entertainment paid the state $4 million to let him out of that contract. That's when the Park Service took over day-to-day management. There's another female Nanhinga over here on that log doing the macho. Yeah, it's called the macho in deference to Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid. You can do that. When the Park Service took over management back in 2013, they shut it down for 6 days. When they reopened, gone was our topiary that rivaled Disney. Gone was our gardens that rivaled Cypress Gardens. And gone was our petting zoo that had no rival. How many of y'all have been here before? Were you here before 2013? Over 10 years ago?
Yeah.
You remember our petting zoo? They moved it, and that's a shame too. I had the most fun. I've been coming here since '62, and the best time I ever had was in March of 2010. There was an 8 or 9 year old boy here that couldn't read, and that's what made it fun. He was standing right next to a little sign that said, "Do not stand behind the hippopotamus." And there was that hippopotamus behind, right in front of that little boy. He said, "Mommy, look at its tail." So I grabbed my nephew and I moved. He did not, initially. It knocked him, when the hippo let go, it knocked him down. He slid back about 10 feet. He was covered head to toe. I ain't never heard nobody scream like that. The mama was crying too, but she wasn't picking him up. The dad, though, I'm laughing so hard I can't catch my breath. My ex just smacked me upside my head so it ain't funny. Yes, it was. The dad was the epitome of composure. That man held that video camera steadier than I could if I had it on a tripod. I gave him my card. He said, "Oh, I don't need a witness." I went, "Oh, hell no. I want an invitation to the little fella's wedding. Because that's going to be the reception of the century, I guarantee it." Now, in full disclosure, I do repeat that little ditty every tour I give, good or bad, because I still enjoy telling it. And the other reason is very simple. One day, that little fella's third cousin, twice removed, will be on my boat, and I'm going to get the invitation to the wedding. Or not. Earlier, we talked about the Timucua, the Seminole Nation. The Timucua left in 1821. The Seminole Nation is still around today. In fact, they're more powerful now than they have ever been. Back in the 1830s, that wasn't the case. Now, they picked a fight, and they suffered a massive defeat. Out of the defeat came a peace effort back then called the Payne's Landing Treaty. The nation was represented by a young man named Osceola. That statue represents that moment in time when he represented them and rejected the Payne's Landing Treaty. Now, he did that because He didn't like it. To give you an idea how solid it was, today we don't call it the Trail of Tears. We call it the Trail of Tears. We don't call it the Payne's Landing Treaty. So you can understand why they didn't like it. Well, that rejection created a conundrum. We don't have a treaty or a truce with the Seminole Nation. Academically, they're referred to as unconquered. If they're unconquered, we didn't beat them. We didn't beat them, we're still fighting them. If we're still fighting them, they're mashing our potatoes, and I can prove it with that tree right there. That's a male I hang on top of the tree. That is the Lucky Horseshoe Pond. Tradition holds that if you get your picture taken in the crux of that Lucky Horseshoe Pond, you're going to get 5 years of good luck. I have that with the absolute assurance of the marketing director of the Seminole Hard Rock Cafe. Yeah, they own 8 of the Hard Rock properties. They do tell us, though, if you want that 5 years of good luck, you got to have both feet in the crux of that tree. 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Yeah. Now, I have heard said that if you sit on it, you're going to get 5 years of half-ass luck, but I don't know. Just don't do it barefoot. With all the rain we've had, you can look up on that calf rail and still see some white. That ain't paint. And 15,000 years ago, this one, the river needed, there was a bubbly little brook going down to the Ocklawaha. Then we had us a sinkhole, and that sinkhole is what created this river. It ripped an opening into the aquifer 6 feet high at time one, 57 feet around the circumference. It's spewing out in the neighborhood of 550 million gallons of water a day. Mammoth Spring, the largest artesian vent in the Western Hemisphere. There's some blue shad down there. And that hole in the wall coming up underneath me there, that is Mammoth Spring, a little over 21 million gallons an hour. Now, we do call it mammoth, not because it's the largest, though. We call it that because of the bones they found down there. The woolly mammoth bones. They picked them up and assembled them in our Silver River Museum here at the park. Now, that water's awesome in the aquifer. There's 14 bottle companies taking it out of the aquifer, but they're not taking it out of the river. And for the same reason, we don't recommend that you drink it. There's a lot of wildlife doing stuff in this water you don't want to drink. But if you want to have fun with it, take an empty bottle, fill it up with this river water, take it home with you. Put it in your refrigerator. Let it sit there for about an hour or a week. Then take it out, put it on your kitchen counter, go in your living room. Send somebody in there you don't appreciate, let them open it. It's going to smell like a skunk died in it. It is awesome water, folks. It really is. It just don't bottle worth a hoot. And speaking of hoot, Jimmy Buffett did a movie here in 2008 called The Hoot. Doris Day's a climb on a boat. No, that wasn't done here. But they told me that, and I Googled it eventually, and nope, it's not. Jerry Lewis did Don't Give Up the Ship back in 1959. Smokey and the Bandit 3 with Jerry Reed and Jackie Gleason. Tom Cruise did Scenes of the Legend here back in 85. And the best movies ever filmed here, and I'm including those episodes of Sea Hunt with Lloyd Bridges, the 6 Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan movies, the best ones filmed here. Bond, James Bond, Moonraker, Thunderball, Never Say Never Again. In Moonraker, James Bond wrestled him a big old anaconda snake, and he did it right down there. Y'all see that rock with that Trump hair on it? Didn't have nothing to do with it, but keep looking, because the 3 statues coming up underneath my boat did. There's statues down there were not put there for James Bond. They're actually put there for a TV show called I Spy with Robert Culp and Bill Cosby back in 1967. When I first started working here, they told me that statues were actually named after the Greek gods, Zeus, Hades, and Thor. When they told me Thor, I knew they didn't know Greek mythology, so I renamed them. That one closest to me, bending over backwards, that's Bill. That one in the middle, leaned up against Bill, that's his neighbor Harvey. And on the far side over there, leaning left, that's Bill. Yes, I named him Bill, Harvey, and Bill on purpose. Bill, as in left-leaning Bill, not bending over backwards Bill, but left-leaning Bill is more popular than trio. James, he wrote a book with a fella named Patterson. Those statues are 7 feet tall. They're on a ledge 25 feet down, which pretty much means there's only 18 feet between them. The glass does not promote any magnification. Anybody want a selfie with a Greek god statue? Oh, no, not them. That's Bill Harvey and Bill. They're Florida Trappers. The Greek God statues are up in the Discovery Center right there. The only bad thing about the statues is they are the last item on our 30-minute tour. I'm going to start heading back towards the dock, and as I do, please remain seated until we tie up. And once we do tie up, they're going to lower that gangway, and that's going to be your cue to escape. In my own defense and edification, gratuities or tips, as it were, although greatly appreciated, they are voluntary. And that glass that you've been looking through for the tour, that is the world's largest tip jar. It is a 110-year tradition of tips on the glass. The Florida Park Service is rather insistent that we say thank you for coming, so thank you for coming. From the heart, though, I hope I did you justice in the tour and that you enjoyed it, and that y'all have a good day, good friend all day, every day. Stay safe, stay healthy. More importantly, y'all live a life worth living, filling with joy, laughter, and purpose. I'm Joe Mack, this is the Charlie, and you can scratch a Glass Bottom Boat Tour off your bucket list. Thank you again so much for joining me. We close at 8 o'clock. There's 5,000 acres to tour, and there's 25 miles to take a hike on. Be careful, though. They lock the place up at 8 o'clock, and I mean they lock it up. Y'all see the yellow stripe on that gangway right there? Y'all watch your step. That is a serious, serious tripping hazard. Y'all trip and fall on that thing, you're going to hear two things. One, you're going to hear your own blood-curdling scream. That's like a cheese grater right there. The other thing you're going to hear is going to be my laughter, because y'all do look kind of funny when you fall. Thank you again. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. I'll look at you again. Take care.